Okay, so I am board 13, and this is my little video on masking in Photoshop. Now, I use Photoshop CS4, and I'm sure most of you probably use like CS3 or some other version like that. But I'm pretty sure all what I do here can be applied to them in just the same manner. So I'm going to start off by just making a mask based off selection. So I'm just going to do that, click that, and voila, I have now instant mask. And so as you can see, the mask is exactly like my selection. The white part, it was the selected part. Oops. And the black part was whatever was not selected, which we can now no longer see. Yahoo! So what masks do is it just essentially lets you color in the lines. So you can like color it, say like, I don't know, pink or something, and then you can just color all over it. And then the only parts you'll see are whatever parts are made visible by the mask. In other words, the parts that are white on the mask are what you'll be seeing then on the layer. Now, you probably notice this little chain link between them. That just means that they're linked. If you click that, they become unlinked. Click in between them again, and they're linked once more. And what that does, that's for when you're transforming them. When they're linked, any sort of size adjustments, moving it around, they are done to both at the same exact time. However, if you unlink them, now you can move the layer around without moving the mask, and you can do the same thing to the mask. Okay, so that's that. That's the linking of the masks. And now what I like to do, mostly what I do with masks is I use them with groups, because that is really the way you can get the most out of it. So what you do when you have a mask on a group, you can make as many layers as you want, and you can color on all of them. And the mask on the group is then applied to every single last one of those layers. And see, you can then disable the mask, and so you can see all this stuff, and you can re-enable it, and they go away. Now, the most common application for this is making objects sort of fit together that you put into photos. For instance, here we have this. And as you can see, the girl clearly does not really fit, so I'm going to make her fit. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put her in our own little group. I'm going to select her, make a mask, and I'm going to name it like model or something like that. And then I'm just going to put a bunch of adjustment layers. Now, what adjustment layers do is every single change you make to them is then applied to every single layer below them. However, if you have a mask in place, the only place you'll see those adjustments made is within the mask, because you had the layer and whatever. See, so if I were to if I were just disable the mask, she still pops out. And she doesn't pop out as much. Now, you add as many adjustment layers as you so please, and eventually she more or less fits like that. See? Looks all nice and perfect. Now, let's talk about editing masks, right? So you can edit a mask using your paint tools. You have your brush, you have your history, you have your eraser, gradient, blur, smudge, you know all of them, right? So when you're editing masks, the only colors you can use are black, white, and various shades of grays. And the colors are actually based off the eraser opacity. Let's say when you're using a brush anyway. So like when you're coloring black, that is 100% eraser opacity. You're getting rid of the pixels totally and completely. And when you color them in white, you're making them visible once more. Or you want to make some other pixels visible. And then when you use gray, like say, I don't know, I'm going to use like 65% gray. Is that what it is? No, that's 80% gray, my bad. Since I'm coloring 80% gray, this is like using 80% eraser opacity, right? Now, for me, I like to think of it in terms of image opacity. So in other words, my coloring of white then becomes making that part of the image 100% visible. Black, of course, 0%. And then gray, making it partially transparent, right? Now, I guess the best way to show that would be to use a gradient. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get that all set up. I'm going to go here, here. And so here, as you can see, now we have just a mask by itself. And I just did that by going through the Channels tab. It's very easy and convenient-ish. So here we have our gradient. Here's our white, there's a black, there's a gray, right? Now I'm going to our Layers tab. And you can see how it works. And just so you can further see how the transparency works, there you have it. There's white, there's black, there's gray. And that's how it works. Now, I like to use mask instead of using it whenever I want to erase something, because when you use the eraser, you're deleting the pixels permanently. Well, not necessarily. You can go back in the history palette, but let's say you're way down far over the line, and suddenly you want those pixels that you erased earlier to be shown again. Well, if you used the eraser, they'd be gone forever. But if you use a mask, you could just color over in white, and voila, they're back again, right? It's pretty easy to work with. Now, that is actually not what a mask is. A mask is a selection. See, I can control-click that, and I can make new layer, click the mask icon. I have a duplicate mask. I can do that again. Only this time I'm not going to select it. I'm just going to color, just to sort of show you how it works. That it is indeed a selection. See, I'm going to color in blue, and there we go. This is fully selected. This is not selected. This is partially selected based off our mask gradient. Now, going off in that same sort of direction, if you want to say like feather the mask, you know what? I'm just going to make that a mask just for demonstration purposes. So if you wanted to feather it, you could actually just use the blur, and you can blur it, and that's the same exact thing as if you were to feather your selection. But unlike with just a regular selection, because it's a mask, it counts as something you can edit using filters as well. Now, filters you can use are pretty much, almost all of them pretty much. You can use I like to use the Gaussian blur, the liquefy on occasion, and I don't know, I don't like using the other ones really. You could technically use them, but I don't know how well they'd work. And that's pretty much all there is to this tutorial explanation thing. Alright? I am Board13. Thank you for watching.